If you're on an interview and you're currently working, you're guaranteed to get the question of why you want to leave. And as a recruiter, I'm going to tell you how to answer it. Hey everybody, it's Brian from A Life After Layoff, and today I want to talk to you about how to answer the question, why do you want to leave your current employer if you're in an interview? As a recruiter with over 20 years of experience interviewing and hiring thousands of people into some of the world's most well-known and prestigious companies, I give you an insider's look into the hiring processes behind major corporations. I've got a website called alifeafterlayoff.com. It is loaded with tips and tricks on how to land your dream job. So make sure you head over there and check out all that free information. There's a lot of great stuff. I've also got a course called The Ultimate Layoff Bootcamp. Now this is 7 hours of dedicated training, all from an insider's perspective. It's on how to get noticed by recruiters, how to go through the interviewing process in its entirety, and how to land your dream job. I'll put a link in the description for that as well. Now I see this all the time. I talk to a candidate and they are currently working. And I always ask the question because I want to know the motivations behind it. I also want to know about your thought processes and how you approach your career. Now, it all depends on if you're an active or a passive candidate because the scenarios are completely different for those types of candidates. Now, what's the difference between a passive and an active job seeker? Well, a passive seeker is somebody that I, as a recruiter, reach out to directly. So I contact them about my opportunity. They had no idea I even existed before then. Or in some cases, maybe I go to my network and I find somebody that I know is in the industry and is well respected, and I reach out to them and say, hey, I've got this opportunity, would you consider it? The other side of the spectrum is somebody that's an active seeker. An active job seeker is somebody that's actively soliciting employment, whether it's responding to an employment ad that I put out or reaching out to me directly as the recruiter and saying, hey, I'm interested in your company. Is there an opportunity for me? If you're passive and I reach out to you, you're going to have a little bit more leeway as far as how to answer that question because essentially you weren't really looking for an opportunity to begin with, or at least you weren't looking for my opportunity. In the scenario of a passive job seeker, it's actually kind of okay to say, I wasn't really looking for a job, you contacted me. However, if you move on to the interviewing process, I would like to see some thought behind why you actually decided to set up that interview with me to begin with. In other words, there should be some motivation behind why you're looking. I don't want to waste your time, and I certainly don't want to waste my time if you're just not truly interested in the role. So what would be a decent answer in that circumstance? In that type of circumstance, and especially if it's a tenured employee, I would generally want to hear something to the effect of, while I'm not necessarily looking for an opportunity, I am certainly open to hearing what's on the open market because I'm always trying to better myself in my career. If something presents itself as an interesting opportunity, I'm at least open to hearing it out. Who knows, maybe you're just in a situation at work where things aren't really going so well. The company is struggling and there's some financial difficulties looming. Maybe it's that you're feeling blocked and you can't move on to the next level. Or maybe it's in a geographic region that you've been targeting and this presents an opportunity for you to move to that area. All of those reasons make sense to me as a recruiter, but I also want to hear valid business motivation behind your decision. Now, if you're a passive seeker and you have no motivation of leaving your current employer other than to just see if you can get a little bit more money, then I would suggest reevaluating why you've decided to talk to the recruiter. Because we'll start to wonder if you're only motivated by a paycheck or if you actually like the opportunity that we're presenting to you. Now, this is of course assuming that we're in the same ballpark. If I'm offering you a position that's clearly below your level, then it's not going to be worth anybody's time. However, a reputable company is not going to lowball you on an offer for a similar type of position or even a potential upgrade. In fact, I once had a passive job seeker respond to me and set up an interview only to find out when we talked about compensation expectation, he was actually looking for a 200% increase to go to my location, completely wasting my time and his. There was really no point in him even setting up the initial interview. Besides, top candidates are focused on the opportunity first, and they know that the pay is going to follow. Now let's shift over to the active seeker. The active seeker, again, is somebody that is actively soliciting me, whether they're responding to that job ad or they've reached out to me directly about an opportunity. In that case, you need to be more concise and clear about why you're looking to leave your current employer. The onus is going to go on to you to have a more consistent answer. After all, you were the one actively pursuing the opportunity. So let's talk about some scenarios there. Maybe you're bored with what you're doing or you don't resonate with the company culture. It's fine to say so, but you need to be careful about how you word it. You want to come across as being neutral or neutral positive when possible. And what I mean by that is this. By saying something like, I hate my current job and I want to do something different, that's not necessarily going to be looked at very favorably by a hiring team, especially if you're interested in a similar type of role and that's what we're talking to you about. The same goes for being bored. If you say that you're bored in a current position, then we're going to look at you as being somebody that maybe is a little too passive. You didn't go out and look for opportunities to enrich your role or get involved in a broader business sense. So it actually could come back to hurt you in that regard. So if that's the case, I would suggest wording your answer something to the effect of, while my present job has provided me with a wonderful opportunity to learn X, Y, and Z, I'm now ready to move on to a more challenging role as I pursue my goal towards this or that type of role. I feel like your company offers me a great opportunity to continue my career trajectory towards that goal. Now, if you're leaving because of a bad boss or a bad work culture, you need to be very careful about how you word that. You don't want to badmouth them. Companies like to hear stories about persevering in adversity. And if you're leaving just because of a bad boss or a poor company culture, companies are going to look at it as saying, do you run away from challenges? It's not to say that those are bad reasons for leaving a company, because they're actually very valid. In fact, most people leave companies because of a bad boss. But just make sure that you're coming across as neutral or even neutral positive. But you want to make sure that you don't come across as being bitter or judging them for it. So what's an example of an answer that I would rather hear as a recruiter? I would prefer to hear that while my current company has offered me a wonderful chance to hone my skills in a challenging environment, I'm interested to see how other leadership styles work in world-class organizations such as yours. That way you're not directly bad-mouthing your current company or your current boss, but recruiters can read between the lines. The key is to come across as gracious but also aware. And really you want to try to apply learning opportunities and turn a negative into a positive. Now, if your company is really struggling economically or the industry that you're in doesn't have a bright future, it's okay to say something to the effect of, while I've really learned a lot in my time with XYZ company, I'm really interested in joining a growing and dynamic company like yours in XYZ industry. So what we're not focusing on is that my job, my company, or my boss sucks. Rather, we're focused on our future. Does that make sense? So that's how I would answer those questions. Try them out the next time you're in an interview, see if it makes a difference. Hey, if you found value in this video, if you could hit the like button, that helps other people in similar circumstances find the content that they need to be successful. And consider hitting that subscribe button, because I've got weekly videos planned on how to land your dream job, how to get noticed by recruiters, and how to make yourself layoff proof to begin with. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.